Decent with people. So, this is actually finishing off the same video, but I shortened it down just in case some of y'all want to hear, well, too long of videos, right? Again, not attorney, nor care to be attorney, so if you need an attorney, don't look at me. I never look straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. And also, this is a learning video.
Recalled, and this report from KTLA came across today.
Do you want me to push play?
And caught my attention. And I want you to know this basically about voting. So they're surprise, voting irregularities
at the recall news
happening at a polling station in Woodland Hills, which I think is in the LA, Los Angeles area, where people are having trouble voting. So I want to play this, but then the voting officials give a response, which I find very peculiar, and I don't know if people paid close attention to the response. So check this out. And I want to point out the response.
Good question. What is going on? We spoke with several concerned voters here in the West San Fernando Valley who believe something wonky had been going on at places like El Camino Real Charter High School in Woodland Hills. This place opened up as an early polling location, open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. But several people tell us they showed up to vote this morning in the special California governor recall election and were told that computers showed they had already cast their ballots. So what? Staffers, they say, were apologetic and helpful, but those voters we talked to are extremely concerned, suspicious, and wanting answers. California native and current West Hills resident, 88-year-old Estelle Bender, spoke with us just a short time ago.
Now, none of this part is surprising.
What happened today and how shocked are you?
But I want to point out something in the response, in the so-called solution.
High School to vote. Got there at 10:30, gave her this, and she scanned it and said, "You voted." And I said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "This has been happening all morning." The man next to me was arguing the same thing. So as I left, I did the provisional ballot. And I was just really angry.
Provisional
I saw
ballot.
two women walking toward me as I left, and I said, "Don't be surprised if they tell you you've already voted." And she said, "They've already done that." If I voted, how did I vote?
And who did you vote for?
Well, I asked the couple, the young women that I talked to, and I said, "Are you by any chance Republicans?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, so am I." And so are the two friends that had the problem at VFW.
So multiple locations.
Too suspicious.
Now, look at this. Look at the response.
And still, I'd like to know how I voted.
This is what is peculiar to me, and what they say and what they don't say. So this is a response from the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder. The voters who experienced this issue were offered and provided a provisional ballot, the fail-safe option to ensure no one is turned away from voting. Provisional ballots are regular ballots, and once the eligibility of the voters is verified, they are processed and counted. After troubleshooting the issue, the equipment at the locations was replaced and voting continued. Now, notice.
Now, listen to this part very carefully, because I never even dawned on this until he brought it up.
The one thing they did not say in that, because she showed up and was told that she had already voted. Mm-hmm. So there's a vote already there. And they said
that was like the obvious
provisional ballot will be counted.
Yeah.
They did not say that the other vote would not be counted. So what does that amount to?
Canceling them out.
It nullifies her vote.
Right.
Basically equates to a zero. You
Right.
didn't vote.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. So if now I sound like am I misunderstanding something? I'm just going on their response. So if I take their response at face value, what just happened? They were placated with provisional ballots.
Right.
Now, assuming they even do what they said, which
Right.
is count
With
the provisional ballots,
Right. Right.
then the only thing has happened is her voting has been nullified. It equates to a no vote because it's balanced out with a false vote. They didn't say, well, we'll throw that one out or whatever. So these guys are turning in, these extra votes. And so even if we assume the provisional ballot is going to be counted like they said, well, it doesn't. They didn't say they're going to take care of the other one. So just interesting how that was worded from the registrar. Because you can't. I mean, they didn't say, this is going out of your way to write a response and craft a response, all the things that, this took a lot of words and making up the response to respond to this voting. How many more words does it take to say, and the inaccurate vote will be wiped from the books or
Right.
deleted or whatever?
Right.
That wasn't said.
Well, but that's
I'm just saying, if I
Yeah.
just go by
but
what
that
they
would
say,
require
what just happened?
a forensic review,
Right.
which
Yeah, so you wouldn't even
is
know.
not going to happen.
You don't even know what's going to happen.
Right. Because once again, as you talk about all of this craziness, people are going to start demanding forensic reviews. And the minute you ask for a forensic review, you are going to be undemocratic, right? You're going to be an anti-democratic, anti-American who is wanting, who actually wants election integrity.
It also is a shock to me after what we just went through. Where are the what do you call them, poll watchers? Where are the Republican poll watchers?
Republican poll watchers, whatever. In this scenario, it doesn't even matter because what's happened is the computer system has them registered as voting. We don't even know if a physical person came in and voted in their name. It could have been preloaded that way. So
Yeah.
Sit and think about that, y'all. The computer are pre-loaded. Could it be?
poll watcher
I'm
would have
curious to see
irrelevant.
where this goes, but once again, it seems to me that the people who ran the election before are still in charge of running the election. Has nobody made their way into this mess, into the system? It still seems to me very little effort into getting in there and getting in that system and trying to get some control, get this thing under control. So I think I don't know how there's going to be any confidence left in the voting system in America,
Especially in California.
by the time the next election rolls
Yeah.
around. So
Yeah.
we're seeing the same things happening over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What has changed? What has changed within the voting system? So this part is it's troubling to me because this is like a big sort of linchpin of, I don't know, order, for the lack of a better word. When people lose absolute utter confidence in this is a massive breakdown in societal structure. I think this is a big piece of ingredient that ultimately leads to massive unrest.
Now, my question is, and she will not give it, I don't think. I haven't heard the rest of this, right? can people actually sue the manufacturer of the voting computer box? Or do they have qualified immunity? Because what is caused is, it may be a minor thing, but they went voting, and when they don't even know who they're voting for, now win or lose, it caused them harm. By something that was directed on accident or purpose. I don't know. Something to think about.
And chaos.
Which we all know that's what they want anyway.
Right.
This is all the cabal wants: the massive chaos. They want the disruption. They want the civil unrest. This is part of what they're pushing. So, I just hope that clearer minds will prevail. And in the words of Mercy Otis Warren, we need to pray for more lenient measures.
Yep.
And that's what our prayer needs to be.
I mean, I think a majority, and I agree, Tony, I think a majority of the people are already there. That a majority at this point has no confidence in elections.
Right.
And that's a huge problem.
But that's, even if you don't have the
psychological.
Right, because then what has to happen is, even if you don't.
Okay, on my behalf, just so we're on the subject, that way you guys know where I stand. I'm a firm believer voting hasn't counted in years, because once again, I'm under the impression, with the flags in the courts, flags in the church, that we're under the martial law rule 3, all right, which means Congress is suspended. So how can we have a true election if everything's been suspended? Just saying.
Have
There we go.
the confidence in elections, you still have to show up to vote. Because when you show up to vote, then that's how these things get exposed. That's how these things get challenged. If you don't have confidence in the elections and you don't show up to vote, then like this, if this lady had never shown up to vote, she would have never known that someone else voted under her name.
Yeah,
She would have never known that.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
you
how many
have
people? How many
to show
people
up.
are not actually going out to vote?
Right.
That they're already using their vote.
Now, even on an argument right there, right? How do you know it's somebody else? Right? It could be designed in that computer programming, right? And who's ever owning the box designed it that way. I don't know. Just saying, y'all.
Right, exactly.
So you're exactly right. She found out just because she actually voted, but and that's a big characteristic, by the way, of the Republican side, is indifference and inactivity.
Right.
So you would have to imagine there's going to be a massive amount of Republican voters that are not going to show up, because that is characteristic of Republican voters.
Right.
And so they have a massive pool of potential false votes.
Right. Right.
I think that I've been thinking about this, and I think as long as our elections are automated, so as long as there is a computer involved or any kind of electronic involved in any way, people are not going to regain confidence in the electoral system, because essentially you can't see what's happening. You can't see it. So people talk about paper ballots. I've mentioned the blockchain thing before, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that's still something that you can't see right then and there. Even though we understand technologically you could probably go and verify this or whatever, majority of people voting have no idea how to do that or how that works. They're just going to have the feeling psychologically of distrust because they can't see it. So I think at this point, I'm of the opinion that unless you roll back, to the old days of like a paper ballot with a box that you stuff it
Right.
in, go back to the literal ballot box, a literal ballot with a box,
Right.
you're not even going to get close to giving people confidence in the election because they simply cannot see what's happening.
Right. Exactly. Well, it's time for us to go, JC. Did you guys enjoy today's show?
Yeah, correct. That's going to be the thing. We're going to be like what you see in the third world countries. You look around Haiti and
Get a
different
purple
places.
mark on your
you,
finger.
You, you have some physical thing, and then there are troops, essentially troops, or massive police forces at the polling station.
Well, that's why they want the UN to come in and do that.
Exactly right.
That's right there.
Exactly.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Did you like the show? If you liked,
Yeah, that's all we need. UN, right? They're a bunch of honest people. Well, just take it as we come. You guys decide. Just in case I'm wrong, y'all. For the Republicans and Democrats out there, push it. And I don't know if you find something like this lady had factual evidence that she voted, and when she didn't, she filled out the papers and all that. I think that people need to start going after these and suing these manufacturers. Mainly because it wasn't security proof, number one. Number two, was it possible for them to add things to it to benefit one side or the other? Somebody's making money off this, y'all. Follow the money trail. Deuce of the We People News. Till next time, bye.